Hey everyone, this is Julie, the main stamper. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I'm back with another video in my series called Mondays Are Hard, Stamping Shouldn't Be. In my video series, I like to explore easy to make cards that require minimal supplies and minimal efforts to get great results. So on a typical Monday card, I like to use one stamp set, and today's stamp set is going to be Forever Fern. And I love this stamp set. It is super popular. It's got great ferns in it, just as the name would imply, and some sentiments as well. And it also has, if you're interested in the bundle to get the dies with this stamp set, this is the Forever Flourishing dies. I keep mine on magnetic sheets in the case that it came in from Stampin' Up. So this is a bundle if you so desire. However, on a Monday card, we go with super simple, and I'm just using one stamp set. And the idea behind one stamp set is if you have stamps at home that are similar that you can use to make this card, then I encourage you to go ahead and use those same stamps. So you don't have to have the exact same stamp set. But here's our stamp set for today. We're also using only two ink colors. So I've got Mint Macaron and Bermuda Bay. So we've got two ink colors and two colors of cardstock. We've got Just Jade, which is a great new in color for Stampin' Up, and Whisper White. So that was correct. One stamp set, two ink pads, two colors of cardstock, and here's our card. So this one is a lot of stamping. So there's a lot going on here for stamping, but it's easy to make. It's minimal cutting. This is a pretty simple card recipe, which is available on my blog, and it goes together so fast and so easy. And I love this color combination of Bermuda Bay, Mint Macaron, and Just Jade, and I love colors. So if you followed me a little bit before, you're going to know that sometimes when I make a card recipe, I like to change it up and do different colors. So this one is Cajun Craze, is that correct? Cajun Craze base. I think that's what the color is, Cajun Craze. Yes, Cajun Craze. Flew out of my mind. Anyway, Cajun Craze base. And then I changed it up again and I went with a berry color base. This is Rich Razzleberry. So this is the same card recipe. You can see the same recipe here. Three different very unique colors of cards, but beautiful, using that same basic card recipe. Again, that'll be on my blog. And also I thought, what the heck, let's try Christmas, right? Everyone's thinking a little bit about Christmas right now. So here is a Christmas card that I made. You can see that I did a little bit less stamping, but same card recipe, same basic design, changed up the colors here to be more red and green. So this is my Christmas version of this same card. I did use a different sentiment from the Merry Hello stamp set. This is a host stamp set that's in the holiday catalog. So if you have a qualifying party or enough in sales personally, you can get this host set. It's got a couple of sentiments. Heartfelt Christmas also would have worked beautifully in this card. So I just want to show you, you can change the sentiment as well and create different kinds of cards. So anyway, this one goes together so fast and easy. There's just a little bit of stamping here in assembly. So we're going to get to this and I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is. Follow me and let's get stamping. Okay, so as always, to get started, we take our half sheet of cardstock and we fold it in half. And I like to burnish the edge with my bone folder. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip it inside out and around and crease it again and get a nice card base. So here's our card base, and I'm going to go ahead and set that aside, and we're going to start with our stamping. So the first piece we're going to stamp on is a 4x4 piece of Whisper White. So it's going to be this big piece right here. And I'm going to start with the Bermuda Bay ink, and I'm going to start with this Fern stamp. So there's a lot of Fern stamps in the Forever Fern stamp set. This is the one that I'm going to use, and I'm going to create kind of a fan circular pattern here. So I'm going to go ahead and in the Bermuda Bay ink, I'm going to ink it up, and I'm going to start at about 11 o'clock on here, and I'm going to leave a little bit of room along the top, and I'm going to stamp it once, and I'm going to immediately stamp off just to the side a little bit and get that shadow. And then I'm going to continue stamping, and I'm kind of stamping a little bit in a circular pattern. So I'm going to turn my cardstock, and I'm trying to fan this out a little bit by getting a darker image and then a lighter image right next to it. I'm going to continue to go in a circular pattern here and just stamp once and then stamp off, and I'm going to continue around stamping again, and then I can see maybe I want another dark one right here. So this looks like a crazy mess right now, right? This is just, you're looking at this thing and thinking, what are we doing here? If we take our piece of just jade and we cover this up as our card is intended to be, you can see now that the covering up that messy middle just leaves us with a really nice stamping along the outside. So this is the effect that we're getting by stamping dark and then stamping off to get that second generation of ink and going around in a circle. Don't worry about the middle, guys, because we're going to cover this over and it's all going to go away. So that is the first part of stamping on this. And I'm going to bring in another, like a smaller leaf fern with the mint macaron. Now this particular stamp, there's actually two of them, and they go in, one kind of curves a little bit to the right, one curves to the left. They are the same size. There's two dies that go with them. I do have them mounted on two different size blocks. Size of the block doesn't matter, and the stamp that you use doesn't matter. We're just going to be stamping in this mint macaron along the outside edges here. And I'm just going to turn my paper a little bit, and I'm just inking and stamping and going along. I like to turn my paper as I ink and stamp. So I'm just pushing it into the edges of this paper here to get that little bit of green along the edges. So again, just ink and stamp as I go. I'm not stamping off on this one. And I'm just adding in that extra green. So we've got the mint macaron there. So this is something you definitely want to have a protective surface as you're stamping. You're going to see that it stamps off quite a bit. So again, I'm going to put this on here and just show you that this is the effect that we're getting once we cover up that middle again. It is just absolutely beautiful to have those blues and greens going on there. So this piece is stamped and done. I'm going to go ahead and set it aside. And we're going to bring in our little sentiment piece. Now this piece, we are going to stamp on a diagonal. So as you can see it here, it's like diagonal. And I found that it was easy to use my grid paper and kind of line up the points on my grid paper. And I'm going to bring in the sentiment that says, "To a friend that makes me smile." Now this is in cursive writing, and it's a little bit at an angle, so trying to get it centered on this paper is a little bit of a challenge, especially as our paper is kind of crooked, if you would think of it that way. So I'm going to just say, do your best to try to line it up as you're looking at it straight across, and we're just going to stamp that in the mint macaron right onto our piece of paper. And then I'm going to take the other stamp. So I just used this one for the mint macaron around our other paper. I'm going to use the one that I haven't used yet, and I'm going to ink it up in the Bermuda Bay ink. And again, I'm just adding this color along the edges here of my sentiment piece, and I'm turning my cardstock again as I go. And I'm just inking, stamping, inking, stamping. Just trying to get the outside edges here a little bit, not too much. I want to leave some white here in the middle. So there's that piece, all inked and stamped and beautiful. And this piece is going to layer right on top of a piece of just jade. So this is going to go on top of here, and that's gorgeous. And we got a little bit of stamping left. So this is a little 1x4 piece. This is this piece down here. So again, we are going to bring in the Bermuda Bay ink. And this is probably my favorite stamp from the Forever Fern stamp set. It looks like berries. So these stamps are distinctive stamps, and that just means they've got highs and lows, so it looks like there's shading built right into the stamp. It doesn't stamp just a large image. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this about 4 times across here, and I'm kind of stamping it in the middle. So you can see that it's a longer stamp, but I'm just trying to get the berries here and a good coverage on my piece of paper. So again, I stamped off the paper, and this was the berry stamp in the Bermuda Bay. So that is all of our stamping for the outside. So we're going to go ahead and bring in our parts and pieces, and we're going to start some assembly. Let me grab out my glue here, and I start with the biggest piece, this 4x4. So just put your adhesive on the back of it. If you're using your tape runner, you would put your tape runner along the edges. And I'm going to put this on my card base, leaving about 1/4 of an inch around the top and the sides. So this is just going to go on here just like that. and then this little piece is going to go on the bottom. So again, there's going to be some spots in between where you don't have you don't see anything but the card base itself. So this one's going to come down here toward the bottom, and the green glue here gives you a little bit of wiggle room to make sure you've got that lined up straight, and that's going to go right there. So again, we're seeing the card base behind it. I'm going to go ahead and adhere my sentiment piece to the Just Jade matting piece. So this is going to go on here, and this is going to eventually be at the angle or diagonal, but you can line it up square if it's easier for you to line up square, because it fits on there just perfectly. Then I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive to this piece, and I'm going to put it on here at that angle. So we're going to put it on here, and you're going to see that it fits here just right on this card base. So there's a little bit of room off of each of the four corners here, and it fits beautifully. So the dark blue here of the Bermuda Bay picks up right behind it the different stamping that's in Bermuda Bay, and I think that just gives it a really fantastic result. This is the outside of our card, and that was that simple and quick. Now, I always like to do a little bit of inside stamping as well. So this is a piece of Whisper White that I like to put inside my card bases when they have a darker card base. So this got a little bit of stamping too, and I brought in the Bermuda Bay again with this big fern stamp that we did our wreath that went around the 4x4 piece, and I just stamped this here a little bit into the corner. I like to decorate the corner here, so just a little bit of stamping there. Again, with the distinctive stamps, you're getting that great pattern of dark and light, high and lows. And I've got to find the stamps that I used for the mint macaron, and I believe it was this one. This is my mint. So I'm trying to not mix my stamps one into the other here. But I'm going to go ahead and stamp a little bit on the top and a little bit on the bottom. I'm not overlapping the Bermuda Bay, but I'm just adding a little bit top and bottom, so you've got that kind of corner interest there. And this very easily is going to have some adhesive put onto the back of it, and it's going to go into my card base. Just like that. I'm going to center that on the inside. So you can see that's a beautiful way to carry over the image from the outside of your card right onto the inside of your card. So that was how super fast and easy this card went together, and that's why I ended up creating it in so many different colors, because it is a very easy card to create. So everyone, thank you so much for watching me create this beautiful card in the blue and green tones with the Forever Fern stamp set. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that I've inspired you with these different color combinations to get this card recipe on my blog, The Main Stamper, and grab your favorite colors of cardstock and ink and create something similar. Or maybe you're going to start making Christmas cards. Whatever you do, make sure you enjoy that time in your craft room. Come back and see me on another Monday for another simple, easy card using a different stamp set, some new colors of ink and cardstock, and we will create something fabulous. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.